This is Sybert signing into Tiberian Dawn Remastered in the bottom left-hand corner of Canyon Pursuit. This is as the tan nod, Johnny Knows. And in the top right-hand corner as the blue nod, this is SSM Launcher, aka JonnyKnows. Now, this game is from a little while ago, but I believe this is still post the patch, which fixes Nod v Nod. Well, actually just fixes Nod production in general. There have been a couple of patches in the recent month or two, and they've definitely helped the game in terms of design and balance, but apparently they've caused some matchmaking problems. So there are some matchmaking changes coming in the future. A couple of flamethrowers coming out from each side. JonnyKnows getting the kill in the middle there. But, so not airstrips should be balanced now, which means that JonnyKnows doesn't have an inherent disadvantage just because he's slightly further left than JonnyKnows on this map. Now, it looks like double refinery opening for JonnyKnows into the airstrip. This is kind of the division that we've been seeing from players. Are you going double refinery opening, or are you trying to go for a triple refinery and do your base creeping a little bit earlier, getting your 3 refineries up first before your airstrip or before your war factory if you are indeed playing GDI? We do have some bikes and buggies coming out. SSM Launcher, aka JonnyKnows, with the scout of his bike. Going to be taking a look inside of the base of JonnyKnows, getting a little bit of damage down there. Probably not too much for JonnyKnows to worry about. He has the forces to deal with this. And the bike will actually manage to escape up to the north. Couple of buggies coming out. This is pretty common for Nod. If you guys saw some of those Nod v Nod replays that I streamed a little while ago, there was one which was just buggy v buggy ad nauseum, and a little bit of scouting coming out from JonnyKnows as well. Mixing in a couple of bikes. Some players choose not to do that. They really like just buggy v buggy, and I assume that this replay will turn into something a little bit more than just buggy v buggy. Joel's going to be base creeping a little bit with those sandbags, and he's up to his 4 refineries now, potentially even adding on a 5th over here. I assume the sandbags are just to get him like 1 hex closer there. Bikes and buggies going to be clashing a little bit in the middle of the map. SSM going to be pulling back. JonnyKnows retreating as well. And of course, JonnyKnows now going to be setting up, I believe, his 5th refinery there out on the edge. So he's got a pretty good split of refineries. This one's a little bit far away, but that's okay. There's no Tiberian grow right there. Actually, does this map? Oh, this map is one of those maps with no Tiberian grow, with no trees to regrow the Tib. Huh, so I guess that means there is a limited amount of cash on this map, but economies are relatively even thus far. No second airfield coming out, or airstrip rather, coming out for either of these guys. Does decrease your production times if you've got the 2 airstrips versus the 1. So there is an advantage to doing it, but it takes so long to get out airstrips. Comm Center now out for JonnyKnows. It takes so long for airstrips to get out, and the same thing for JonnyKnows, just slightly later, that a lot of times you don't actually end up seeing the second airstrip. And going to be, wow, base creeping all the way to his opponent. JonnyKnows is going to be potentially being able to drop an obelisk pretty much in his opponent's base over there on the left side of the map. JonnyKnows going to be trying to do the same exact thing over there on the right. Tib silo base creeping is always a possibility, and for now, JonnyKnows is defending it with a couple of bikes and buggies. Of course, holding the middle of the map and just staring down the forces of JonnyKnows as they're kind of meeting in the middle of the map. And an obelisk. So now then, that begs the question, is JonnyKnows doing the exact same thing over here on the right side of the map? Of course, nothing is really in range of this obelisk right now, but in a matter of moments, there may be a little bit further of a base creep for both of these players to try and put their opponent's MCV into range of this obelisk. More power plants going to be coming down for JonnyKnows. JonnyKnows going to be potentially splitting off a couple of bikes over here to the right side of the map. Definitely not how we see a typical Nod v Nod turn out. More, it's just like big clashes. Oh, and SSM Launcher will lose his SSM Launcher as this Harvester is also going to be going down. The bikes rushing in with that Obelisk getting the first couple of shots off means the bikes will be able to actually finish off that Harvester and then skate on out of there. Joel's going for the SSM Launcher. He knows the importance of artillery, but JonnyKnows, again, with this being a mirror matchup, is mirrored almost exactly, doing everything the same that Joel's is doing. And that is how you clear out an Obelisk. 3 SSM Launchers deal with an Obelisk pretty darn quickly. On the top right-hand corner of the map, the bikes and the buggies continuing to clash, and goodbye Obelisk. So that, of course, means that Joel's... Oh, actually, Joel's also going for a couple of artillery as well, so not just the SSM Launchers, but some traditional artillery as well. Firing shots at each other as SSM Launcher, I think, got a shot in this Tiberium here. Harvester, okay, is this guy going the long way? Yeah, he's not even harvesting this Tiberium. That is right there. He's going to a field a little bit further away. A little bit unfortunate there for JonnyKnows, whereas on the right side of the map, a little bit of an engagement going to be pushing Joel's back. Once again, this Obelisk striking out for JonnyKnows. Joel's has not rebuilt his Obelisk over there on the right side of the map, but in the middle of the map, Joel's going to be pushing forward a turret, and a couple of bikes on the high ground going to be able to contend with this army just a bit, but not enough numbers. SSM Launcher is going to be defending in the top right-hand corner against JonnyKnows, and JonnyKnows doesn't have much defense here. Going to have to force to sell off a couple of buildings, and one Obelisk is nice, but it's not necessarily going to be enough to hold off this army, as Joel's going to be able to close in around that Obelisk, force to sell off. Even the Harvester and the Refinery should be going down here. No, the reinforcements show up for JonnyKnows and will be pushing SSM Launcher out of his base. Trying to sneak a couple of bikes and buggies in here as the artillery deal with one of these refineries and actually manage to cut it down completely. The refinery gets exploded, and for now the artillery do escape. The missile of that launcher did not get the kill on that artillery unit. Bike's now going to be swinging over to the right side of the map for JonnyKnows. Going to be potentially putting some pressure on, but no, he will indeed not. He won't choose to engage right away. Well, a whole bunch of buggies are here. They will be able to overwhelm this small number of bikes here on the right side of the map. 2 of the bikes getting caught by Joel's as he does manage to save that. His repair pad, or his helipad, and his advanced, and his comm center, not advanced comm center, he's not GDI. His comm center going to be potentially dealt with here as the power plants are actually the thing that he is going for. SSM Launcher going into low power mode potentially. Looks like he's still online at the current moment. Holding off the attack in the top right, at least for now, as JonnyKnows is not able to get any real headway against Joel's. He did manage to kill the comm center, but the Temple of Nod is actually here, so, well, you got the comm center, but not the Temple of Nod, so the nuke is continuing to count down. The artillery is already out on the field, and of course that comm center can eventually be rebuilt. Joel's has a decent amount of cash in the bank to be able to rebuild the stuff that JonnyKnows is destroying. On the right side and the left side, both sides of the map featuring attacks, and an attack helicopter going for the SSM Launcher. That means the Obelisk will continue to stand strong for JonnyKnows, but on the left side of the map, Joel's going to be trying to deal with this attack, but he just can't. He doesn't have the numbers over here. A couple of bikes, or a couple of buggies rather, sitting in the middle of the map, not going to be engaging with this army, and JonnyKnows will continue to get a slight win over here on the left side of the map. The helipad does still stand, and this little pocket of forces in the top will be destroyed eventually here by Joel's. Joel's going to be able to stop this attack, but again, the helipad down here on the bottom left is finally shut down. 2 turrets will replace it as Joel's desperately tries to defend this refinery. JonnyKnows has not been able to make huge progress, but he has certainly pushed back the base creep of his opponent, while on the right side of the map, JonnyKnows has maintained strength in his position with that Obelisk, even getting some free damage on this Harvester here on the left side of the map. Attack helicopters once again going to be cutting in here and going for the SSM Launchers of Joel's. Won't quite be able to get the kill there, and the obelisk does take a shot, but back on the left side of the map, the turrets continuing to pummel away at these buggies. A couple of them are out of range. The SSM launcher getting one good missile hit and a second good missile hit against these buggies that are harassing that harvester. Bikes and buggies need to respond from JonnyKnows. He does manage to shut down part of this attack, but his harvester is getting dangerously low on health. He will barely lose it there. It does just go down as JonnyKnows is unable to defend his harvester as the forces of JonnyKnows die almost at the same time as that harvester. Once again, the attack helicopter going to be coming in. It does get eliminated before the SSM goes down, and the SSM gets cleaned up by the ground forces as JonnyKnows is unable to stop that attack. The obelisk gets the last couple of shots off before finally JonnyKnows does manage to eliminate it, and now the power plants are going to be getting pushed back. Most of his forces expended on the left side of the map. JonnyKnows doesn't really have anything here on the right side of the map to deal with this attack to stop it, and there's a nuke directly on the airstrip of his opponent. Of course, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage to the building, but it could have been the forces around that building that were the real target. Once again, JonnyKnows cleaning up a lot of the forces of JonnyKnows, but JonnyKnows going to be responding with attack helicopters. One of them does go down. The other one manages to escape after they collectively get a kill on this SSM launcher from JonnyKnows. The obelisk now going to be targeted. Of course, these bikes safely attacking an obelisk because it's in low power mode, and unfortunately for JonnyKnows, he's just had too few forces in a couple of spots, which have led him to be in this situation. Now it feels like he's trying to desperately respond to the things that JonnyKnows is throwing out at him. Although the power is back online, which returns a lot of the defensive strength to JonnyKnows in this attack. JonnyKnows rebuilding his buggy army as he's starting to rebuild, but he doesn't necessarily have enough to finish off the game just yet. JonnyKnows sitting with $2 grand in the bank. JonnyKnows with just a little over $1 grand in the bank. And again, their armies are, now that some rebuilding has happened from JonnyKnows, their armies are probably pretty close to equal, but they don't necessarily have enough to just punch straight into the opponent's base and finish them off. JonnyKnows is going to try. He may be a little bit overextended here. JonnyKnows not responding with all of his forces, which means this little group in the middle is actually going to be defeated and pushed back. Once again, I don't know that JonnyKnows actually has enough forces right here to engage the rest of JonnyKnows' forces. Tiberium getting very desperate and low as there's not much cash left on this map. Harvesters for JonnyKnows will go down. The obelisk fires off, cleaning up another one of JonnyKnows' buggies, and this is a grouping of 3 power plants about half on health, and that is not great for JonnyKnows. If he loses power once again, then that may be a signal for JonnyKnows to try and swing in and end the game. But over here on the left side, JonnyKnows forced to retreat to his turrets. That is his strongest defensive position over here on the left side of the map. Over on the right side of the map, he's just got a couple of buggies going to be trying to hold down the fort and keep him safe. Wow, this is 6 SSM launchers for JonnyKnows going to be making their way through the middle of the map, although he is going to be taking a bunch of just useless damage on all of these bikes and buggies coming through the middle of the map. Free damage, free kills there for JonnyKnows, as now he's going to be trying to push in a little bit here. No, he's going to be forced to retreat. The bikes and the buggies turning around for JonnyKnows' SSM launcher, not able to engage the SSM launchers of JonnyKnows. JonnyKnows now going to be forced to sell off his helipad, and he won't be able to keep those helicopters around anymore. His last one did go down a little while ago, so that's not a bad idea. A couple of harvesters, some of them with Tiberium in them, getting cleaned up as these SSM launchers completely unopposed. But no, JonnyKnows is going to be stepping in with an engagement here. A couple of bikes and buggies desperately trying to clean up these SSM launchers. Their range is powerful, but they're not necessarily accurate if your micro is good. A couple of these harvesters with a decent amount of Tiberium getting low on health, and the power plant's now going to be under threat. Once again, JonnyKnows trying to pull something out for the last minute or two. He has had an inferior army, but he's had okay defense. He's just been able to barely hold on here, and now he's going to be able to focus down these 3 power plants almost unopposed, as JonnyKnows focusing pretty much his entire army here in the middle of the map. The MCV was indeed sold off, and it looks like we got the bug where one of the units is painted the wrong color.
Nuclear warhead.
Oh, the SSMs get caught by the nuke. There's one SSM left, and the nuke able to destroy a good chunk of JonnyKnows' army. JonnyKnows, is he going to try and push in and do something about it? The Tiberium is almost gone, completely gone, actually, from the southern half of the map. 2 little patches over there. But I don't know that JonnyKnows knows about that. With only $184 left in the bank, the regrowth of this Tiberium is just not what is desired by these players, as JonnyKnows desperately trying to pull some kind of defense out in this game. JonnyKnows with a potential advantage since he was able to catch out the army with that nuke. Now going to be cleaning up little pockets of JonnyKnows' forces, losing an SSM launcher, but can JonnyKnows hold on as JonnyKnows' desperate final forces try and make a stand or push in to JonnyKnows' base. Now on the right side of the map, JonnyKnows, couple of bikes, couple of buggies, some infantry mixed in as well. They're going to be able to catch this harvester, but is that going to be their doom? No, the SSM from JonnyKnows isn't firing off. He's not making any good use of this advantage. Even a light tank mixed in here for JonnyKnows. Can he get the crushes off on all of his infantry? Otherwise, his forces might be overwhelmed by the JonnyKnows. JonnyKnows SSM not doing him any help, not doing him any favors, as he actually kills one of his own units accidentally there, and JonnyKnows with his light tank absorbing a huge amount of damage from these forces is going to be able to stand strong, at least for now. JonnyKnows could potentially try and sell basically everything except for maybe one thing, and then try and make some kind of a last-ditch stand. It is not meant to be. The last couple of bikes spawning on in for JonnyKnows, and JonnyKnows, he can wrap this one up, but he hasn't done it just yet. Occasionally we do see these Tib Dawn games go absolutely sideways in the last couple of seconds. Although with the base defenses on the side of JonnyKnows, I think he's going to be able to wrap this one up without any real contest. Most likely just typing away to each other in the chat as these last few moments elapse for JonnyKnows. Double nuke in this game, and mostly a bike-buggy game, but with a little bit of a twist for a Nod v Nod. And of course it will end the way that all Nod games are supposed to go, with a ton of buggies running around the map. JonnyKnows, again, most likely they're just typing away to each other in the game. It looks like the engineer from the side of JonnyKnows did manage to grab this power plant, and oh, we're even going to see ourselves a commando get the win. Match complete, as that will do it for a Nod v Nod with a little bit of a different flair to it. JonnyKnows and JonnyKnows giving us a slightly different take, although in many ways it's much of the same for Nod v Nod. Hope you guys enjoyed a double nuke game here on Tiberian Dawn. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. And this is Sybert, signing out.